This is the Voice of Land on the Big Play Network with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Jay Banky. It is a smorgasbord rendition of the Voice of Land, so let's just jump right on in. We are the Voice of Land right here on the Big Play Network and partnered with LPV Productions. And of course, we are sponsored by Vector Technical. They will get the right person in the right job the first time, and DP Construction LLC. Reach out to them for your concrete construction needs. You got that concrete construction project you want to get done as the weather hopefully gets nicer more consistently here in Northeast Ohio. Reach out to them by phone, 330-217-4999. That's 330-217-4999. I'm one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold. As the big voice at the beginning said, the other one on the other side, we need to change that. Should just say always positive Jay, as he is back on the show. We weren't able to do a show last week, but glad to see feeling better is our producer extraordinaire on the other side of that proverbial glass. It is Peter Tellep, or better known as our AI system audio. He is what Jarvis was to Iron Man. Audio is to the Voice of Land. We appreciate everyone tuning in live, watching on video, whether on Twitter at VT_pod. Make sure you hit that follow button there. Like us on Facebook at Voice of Land, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Voice of Land Podcast. And of course, like and follow Big Play across all of their social media platforms as well. It is at Big Play and at Big Play 216, more so on Twitter, but you can watch us on their Facebook and YouTube channel as well. And then, hey, for those just tuning into the audio during the week, you can always catch us major podcast platforms. You're listening on Apple. You don't like it necessarily coming through there, head on over your Spotify app. You don't like it on there, you like your Google apps a little bit more, head over there. If you think of a podcast platform and you search Voice of Land, you can most of the time find us. Now, a lot to get into tonight. We are going to talk Cavs because they are locked into the 8th seed. They're going to play the Nets on Tuesday night in Brooklyn to try to get into the playoffs, and then there's scenarios from there that they could still get in. Luckily, they got the top two of the play-in seeds and not dropping all the way down into 9 and 10. We'll get to that in 1 second, but usually we start the show now kind of, again, credit out to our buddies over at Legal Ham to the Face. They do their shout outs at the beginning of their show, Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, live on their Twitter and Facebook channel. Now, these, as I'm kind of getting, there's an echo going on here, but we're trying to get our guests that are coming in later. We're trying to work on that. And producer extraordinaire is
having all kinds of technical difficulties right now.
Hey man, it's one of those nights, which is totally fine. So we're working through it, but we'll get to the Cavs here in 1 second. Well wishes, prayers is kind of how we start. And I think today it's more so just one overarching for the entire show. And on behalf of the show, we want to send our condolences and prayers. And this one stung a lot yesterday for big Buckeye fans and just, fans of the person in general. Dwayne Haskins, unfortunately, losing his life being struck by a car down in Florida yesterday morning. He started his career, I believe, with Washington, and then had just signed on with Pittsburgh, but was a Buckeye great, kind of changed the dynamic of what a quarterback is at Ohio State. Definitely the person that started that trend, what we're seeing now, Justin Fields, and now moving on to CJ Stroud. So credit out to there, but prayers and condolences there. We're all going to kind of remember where we were with that. I wanted to personally start the show by kind of apologizing for how I tweeted my thoughts on it. I did quote tweet Adam Schefter's initial tweet that was poorly worded and not an example of how to be professional and how to word a tweet in such dire circumstances, such somber circumstances. And to be honest, like, I quote tweeted it, not actually reading it. I was in shock. I was telling you guys before the show started, I was doing some training at my other job, learning, how to become a board op in radio and talk on the air and sports talk. And, our talk tank has one TV, and the control room where I was at has a different TV, and they were kind of on separate channels. I could see the guys that were on air that was learning how to produce for. I could see kind of like their faces go white, almost become like ghosts. I could tell that there was some breaking news, and that's how I figured out that they had a different station on in the other room. So I went on Twitter and I started looking to see what happened. And Adam Schefter's tweet was the first one. And I was just in such shock as a Buckeye fan, but just in general, as a person, knowing that, family lost a nephew, a son, people lost an uncle and a big time family member and just
a dad.
A dad, yes, and a young kid losing their parent that early. He hadn't even turned 25 yet in his life.
Way too young.
So
way too young.
I know Adam didn't take down he took down his tweet, but didn't apologize. I feel the need, while I not knowingly, not even reading his tweet, not knowing what I quote tweeted at that time till I got a chance to get home and kind of it soaked in. I just wanted to apologize for quote tweeting that. I took my tweet down, but also wanted to send out a personal apology through this means instead of tweeting it out, because I feel like this is a little bit more genuine.
Now, you didn't write the tweet, obviously, and I just appreciate you being a professional and being kind and just apologizing, unlike the other guy who I'm not going to get into it because, it's not your day to talk about you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And Gil Brandt, who's been around the NFL for a long time.
Never heard of him till today. Honestly, God.
I had heard of him. I didn't know that he worked in the Cowboys front office for a long time. I think in the late 80s, early 90s, but been working for NFL.com, and I've seen not necessarily his tweets because I don't follow him, but people kind of like tagging him or quote tweeting his stuff because
he said was just disgusting.
Just
like what Adam Schefter did was just a lack of empathy and just, I don't know. I can't explain it, but what that Gil Brandt said was just disgusting. Like I said, I'd never heard of him before, and I hope I don't hear any more from him ever again.
Yeah, and I don't want to spend too much time on them and shine light on there. I want to make sure that we do send out. We are heartbroken as Buckeye fans, but we can't even begin to understand the people that are much closer to Dwayne Haskins, what they are feeling today. His teammates, his family, friends, people that he has grown up with for a long time. A lot more hurt out there for more people than just us, because he's not just an athlete. He is a person first. All these athletes, men's, women's, whatever it is, they are people first, athletes second. I think that's where that's the unfortunate thing of having the conversation of people are discussing what happened, just looking at them as just athletes and not as the people that they are. And that's unfortunate.
No death is good, but like with someone's like in their elders and they're in bad shape, and when they pass away, it's like you're sad, but you were ready for it, and you're also like, okay, now they're off to a better place. When I've never had that feeling before, it's always been like older people in my life until my brother passed away a couple years back, and when it's out of nowhere, it's just devastating, dude. It's so emotionally wrecking to your entire family.
Yeah,
like no one should bury your kids ever.
No. And I mean, when I was in school, we lost a close friend, and I wasn't at the age to understand it. I think it was middle school. I think it was like 7th grade. They lost their fight to brain cancer. It was their second bout with it. I think she dealt with it. Megan Wood dealt with it when she was like 5 or 6, and then came back when we were in middle school. And, we had kind of a last get together, kind of a party and stuff to just know that, to let her know that who all cared about her. But like, I wasn't at an age to think about it. As the years went on and we had National Megan Wood Day in Wickliffe, Ohio, it started to sting a little bit more. The people that are old enough around him to understand what happened, like that sting is immediate. And there's not many words you can say to help. But we just want to send our best.
There's things you can do to help, though. Like, There's a reason I wore this shirt today.
Yeah.
Like, just sign up to donate your organs. You don't need them when you go. You could save, I think it's 22 lives off the top of my head.
Yeah. So,
yeah, do what you can. And while you're, like, around, just tell everyone how much you love them, because you never know. Anything can happen.
Absolutely. There's no easy way to transition out of that into sports, but sports tend to be, as we say a lot of times, while we love sports and that is a big part of our life, it's not a big part of everybody's life. And sometimes some people, they just dabble in it because it's their escape. And to be honest, it's our escape too. And people have art. They have, going to the theater. We have going to sports and following Cleveland sports here in the city. And the Cavs have put on, an unexpected year. They won 44 games a year after only winning 22. So they double their win total. They're 44-38. It seemed a little bit more promising as the year went on. So we kind of dug a little deep into that. I think we need to take a step back and look at from perspective what we expected out of this team. And this is what we wanted. We wanted them to get into play and to have a chance to get to the playoff series.
We wanted what Phoenix did a few years back. They got in that play-in series.
Memphis.
They didn't do and they didn't do all that well, but the next year Phoenix is in the finals. That little bit of experience helped. They got a key veteran, I think, in Chris Paul, and they took off.
Yeah, you got two examples. You got Phoenix in the bubble, and then you got Memphis the next year with Ja Morant, and look at them take off and be more.
Good to see him come back today.
Right, and be more solidified towards the top of the Western Conference. Even when Ja went out towards the end of the year.
Oh, they were still balling.
They were still balling because now they all had that experience and they all understood like the lessons that the Cavs have, they're going to be able to take into next year, but we don't want this year to end. We don't. Now, I'll ask you, I think the biggest question with this team is we know that the Nets are going to be heavily favored in the playing game on Tuesday, but the Cavs, by getting the 8 seed today, are not out. They get a chance to then, if they were to lose, which we don't want them to do, of course, but if they were to lose, because we won't be able to have a chance to talk about this, we're not doing a show next week with the holiday. If they lose, they can come home and host the winner of the 9-10. And I think that 9-10 seed has got to beat the current 8 seed 2 times to get the 8 seed over them, I believe is how that works. If it's wrong, please comment in the live chat below. We'll keep talking about it. Jay, the question for you is, would you rather see them just get the experience than like 2 play-in games and then, keep their pick because they would still be in the lottery if they don't make
pick?
Or do you want to make a playoff
That
series?
was too easy.
Even if, and I feel like we're on the same page with this, but I still have to add the caveat, even if they were to get swept in that playoff series, if they make it.
Don't care.
Okay.
I'm not worried about lottery picks no more with the Cavs, dude. I don't care. I think we have the squad. I was telling you this earlier today on the phone. If the Cavs were fully healthy right now, I think they could take anyone in this league, East or West, don't matter. Bring them on. We just got hit with the injury bug way too bad this year. So I just want the guys that are here get as much experience as possible. And if you get swept, I hope that leaves a bitter taste in your mouth and you work your butt off on the offseason to get better and come into the playoffs next year and not be in those play-in. Like this year was just getting the play-in, possibly getting the playoffs. I want next year to make a run in the playoffs and then grow from that and keep growing and keep going.
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing going now that you get to play the Nets again a couple days later, with 1 game in between, is there was a playoff emphasis on that game in Brooklyn. So now you have something to even harken back to and a lesson that you learned very recently. So it's fresh in your mind that you can take into your preparation when you watch film of that game and prepare. How do you want to prepare just strictly for the Nets? As if it's a game 7, the last game of the year, potentially your last game of the year. How do you prep for them? Well, now you have actual in-game experience of, look, we only scored 19 points in the first quarter. We only scored 19 points in the fourth quarter. We were up 5 going from the third to the fourth quarter, and we allowed KD and Kyrie, which they are known to do. They have a lot of experience. It's going to be a tough test because they're going to get the bulk of the work. I was listening to the post-game show for the Cavs coming in after beating Milwauke's B or C team today.
Thanks for the win, Milwaukee.
Yeah. Thanks for the win.
So we win.
Solidify the 8 seed. But driving in, they don't have as deep of a bench or as kind of as many guys that are able to play and impact the game as maybe the Cavs do and defend as well. And they don't defend consistently. Do the Nets? KD and Kyrie are going to get the attention, and they can handle that pressure and they can get the job done for the Nets. What can the Cavs do as a team to get it done? Well, number one, you got to hope that Jared Allen can come back and there's not that much rust.
Please come back. Let him come back.
Right. But that's also a difficult thing because he didn't get a chance to play in the regular season and get a little bit of that rust off. He was working on his left hand today before the game.
At least he can run with his hand being hurt. At least he could still run and keep somewhat in shape. It's not exactly in game shape, but I guarantee you that the way that guy works, he was working his butt off to stay in his best shape as he could.
Right.
So when it's time, he can come in and just go. And his game's not predicated on like getting his shot and getting a groove. He's a rebounder, a defender, and get that ball and dunk that thing. So I could see him coming in and just making goal and picking up where he left off too.
I know we don't tend to make predictions on the show very often, but on the other side of the break, I want to kind of finish the Cavs conversation. As short as it is, there's more important things to start the show, of course, but I want your prediction on if the Cavs get in or not. Like, if from a reality standpoint, I want to talk about that. And then we'll bring in our guest to talk a little baseball as well as the baseball season kicked off. We will be joined by the host of Rumpus Room Revival. Ryan and Derek will be here to join us on the other side of this break. We'll talk Cavs, then bring them in and talk baseball. This is the Voice of Land right here on the Big Play Network.
Whether you're looking to hire new talent or start a new career, Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has helped thousands of job seekers advance in their career with reputable partners throughout Northeastern Ohio. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. With an above-average hire-in rate of 1 in 4 candidates, Vector works hard to connect the right person with the right opportunity the first time. Vector Technical hires for skilled manufacturing and light industrial work and is sure to have a career that you've been looking for. To learn more, visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com.
Welcome back to the Voice of Land right here on the Big Play Network. Before we hit the break, we were talking Cavs, and they are in the play-in tournament. They got to win one, and they get in, whether it be the 7 or the 8 seed. And I think Always Positive Jay and myself, Kevin, we're all on the same page. I think even Peter would be on the same page with this, that the Cavs need to get into a playoff series.
If you're not hearing from audio, he's busy behind the scenes right now.
He's working on stuff. That's why I'm talking for him right now. You know, I'm being the voice of the AI system right now. So my question to you before the break, though, was how do you see this actually going? We know what we want to happen. How does this go starting Tuesday night?
Oh, man, I don't know. They're so hard to predict right now because, like, with the injuries, like, if Allen can come back, I think they can go on a little run. But without him, their defense lacks because you could see, like, their perimeter defense is trashed without those both big men out there. It's because they could sell out on that 3 and guard it. And if they go past them on a fake, it's like, all right, I got Mobley and Allen behind there protecting me, which made their play better defense. Man, I don't know what to say.
I know. This is part of the reason why I don't predict. It's not just superstitions. It's how do I put this? It's the fact that making predictions is difficult. Like those that do sports betting and get into it when Ohio becomes officially legal and they make money off it because they're really good at it with the luck and stuff. More power to you, because I know that that's not my avenue, and I hope that it doesn't.
Part of my problem is I'm very confused on these new playoffs still. Yeah. I don't understand the plan. If we're playing Brooklyn first.
We're playing Brooklyn first, yes.
And if we win, I don't know who we play, and if we lose, I don't know who we play.
If we win the game against Brooklyn, we are in and we take over the 7th seed.
Okay, and if we lose, we play the winner of Charlotte and Atlanta.
Yes.
And so if I had to guess, I hate to say this. God, I hate to say this, but I'd say we'll probably lose.
To Brooklyn.
But I think we could beat the other 2 teams.
Absolutely. Brooklyn was the one team you didn't want to see, but they messed around all year long too. And
I mean, we could beat them. I don't care.
Even when KD and Kyrie came back, they still had issues. They're still a beatable team, and they are so inconsistent. So you got to be able to play on that.
And they're both made of glass, so.
I think that the problem for the Cavs defensively has been that teams have actually seen that they can drive to the basket a little bit more without that length around the basket. So they get a little bit of rhythm, see the ball go through the hoop. Now they start swinging around the perimeter. Now the perimeter defense looks terrible because guys are in a rhythm. They're knocking down the outside shot. And that's exactly what you don't want for Kyrie and KD. That's where they make their money, is around the 3-point line. They can get to the hole, and they are aggressive getting to the hole. They'll get people in foul trouble once they get a little rhythm.
That's what I was saying. Like, Allen is such a huge difference maker on our defense.
He's a huge difference. So even if Allen comes back, I know it's going to be a difficult task. I would love for the Cavs to win. They just got to get one win out of these next couple games. They gave themselves 2 chances. Two chances to get a win, basically, is what Kevin Love said after the game. You got to take advantage and get in and get that kind of experience. At the very least, get some experience and then see where it goes from there. So we are going to bring in our guests right now at this time to see what they may think. I know that we have one of the 2 hosts currently on Zoom joining us. It is Ryan from the Rumpus Room Revival alongside Derek. And
We're
Ryan,
still trying to find Derek somewhere. He's lost.
Yeah, we're still trying to find him. But Ryan, thank you so much for taking some time and joining us here tonight.
Hey, how you guys doing? I appreciate coming on.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to talk some baseball with you guys here in this segment, but the Cavs have been a story that we've all kind of had our eyes open to this year. How do you see this play-in tournament going? Can they make a playoff series? Do you even want them to make a playoff series, or you want play-in experience, keep the pick?
I mean, they're dangerous. I don't think people want to play them because they're unpredictable. So, I mean, I think if Jared Allen can somehow get back and be effective, I mean, they're a scary team. They're a scary team, and I don't think anybody that's in the playoffs, if we win the play-in, that are going to want that think they just won and they're going to play this team. So I would say, I mean, again, like APJ said, it's a fickle thing. It depends on what team shows up.
There he is.
If you get, there we go.
Yeah, he's still connecting the audio, so we'll get him in here in 1 second. But I mean, you said it perfectly there, Ryan. The Cavs are unpredictable team, and if Jared Allen comes back and is playing where he can play at least defensively and give you some offensively, and this team can look similar to when they were fighting for a 1 seed in the East.
Oh yeah,
no team's going to want to face this team.
No, they don't want to play, because then even let's just say, okay, if they win the play-in, like most likely, it's probably with an experience and the injuries, are probably not going to win the series. But there's no team that wants to go the distance with that either.
Right. There is no team that wants to go the distance with that. And we also bring in your co-host, Derek West, of course, also from the Rumpus Room Revival. People may recognize him from some TikTok videos from Brown's Twitter, but
this is Derek, not Topher.
Yeah. Right.
They may look a lot alike, but they're actually different people. I swear.
Two completely different people.
Yeah, completely different.
Derek, I mean, just your thoughts on this Cavs team, kind of as we kind of wrap up the Cavs, switch over to the Guardians. Where do you see this play-in tournament going?
First of all, yeah, sorry for being late. Thank you for having me. It's like a horrible way for me to show up is
all right.
But
you showed up like the water boy at halftime.
Late from across the house.
Yeah, so somehow, but yeah, dude, they've been explosive, or they started off explosive during the first half of the year. I think it was a shock. I was talking to some people a couple weeks ago, and everyone was sort of like, are there any playoff expectations here? And everyone sort of said, well, no, but we didn't come into the season with any playoff expectations, right? So I think it's one of those things at this point, anything that happens beyond those expectations are, hey, that's great, you know what I mean? And let's sort of see how far this team could go. I'd love to see what they could do healthy, obviously. I think that sort of goes without saying.
I think they lost their way a little bit too when they, it's not an excuse. You always got that next man up mentality, but this team has gone through so many different injury things throughout the year that it's,
oh yeah, 100%.
Whatever you get out of this year, now that you're in the play-in tournament, I mean, no one's going to give them a chance against the Nets, so they can go back to being that team at the start of the year. Like, why not us? Like, let's go play our brand of basketball. Let's just get back to that. And just go have fun playing a kid's game, getting paid to do it, and let's see what we can do in the playoff run. Now,
yes,
I mean, it'd be the most Cleveland thing.
It would
ever.
It honestly would. It honestly would. Now, there's another team that don't know what to expect out of them playing a kid's game. They just got started in Kansas City. That is the first rendition of the Cleveland Guardians. You guys are sporting some really good looking new Guardians hats. I do like the C.
I like the C better than the black C.
Seriously.
I think they look really sharp. Both of them look really good. I ain't gonna lie, guys.
Yeah,
a little jealous.
I went originally to get the winged Guardians logo on just like a 47 brand dad's hat, and then
Paulie Walnuts ball.
And I'm like, nah, that's classic right there. I gotta have it. Yeah.
Yeah, I am anti Paulie Walnuts baseball. Don't like the flying G at all.
I don't know.
I'm okay with the name change, but I don't know that flying G just.
Nah, it's more about the representation than the actual logo, man.
Yeah, it's like U8, U13, like youth baseball, travel baseball type logo looking thing.
It is goofy.
Yeah, but I mean,
that was my only thing with it. It was just too lazy for me. Like, it was just lazy. They just like figured out how to mathematically put everything inside of everything they already had.
Yeah. I mean, hey, they paid off a roller derby team to keep the Guardians, but they wouldn't pay for like existential
Yeah.
type marketing and branding. You know,
I feel like the
Yeah,
was
graphic
Apollo
design
13
artist.
when they came up with. They're like, here's a bunch of stuff. Like, we need you to put all this into a logo, and they're like, all right,
Yeah.
we're on it. And they got a bunch of scientists who came up with this god awful looking thing.
I take the
Round peg in a square hole.
Yeah.
I take the baseball from Major League, that logo over this baseball right
At
here.
least, yeah.
Yeah, just
That-
put
that
some
would've been
wings on
dope.
that
They
thing
should
and
have
it'd been
done that.
sweet.
They really should have done that. That would have been awesome.
I mean, like some of the like better looking Guardian wings on that, and you got the sunglasses on it. Just
Yeah.
pay Hollywood a little bit of money. You got some money. So
We got Tom Hanks throwing out the first pitch. I was saying he's got to draw the Wilson face on the ball.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. As he's throwing, he's like, Wilson.
So now before we can get to opening day though, or home opener at least, they have had their opening day, first 2 days in Kansas City. Not great offensively, which I think a lot of us probably expected with a lot of young guys coming up. Instead of shelling out the money to bring players in, they use the money to keep players here, which is an advantage. It's something you got to give the Dolans in this front office a lot of credit to for keeping Jose, and now Miles Straw wants to stay. Clase gets to stay for 5 years, or 5-year extension at least. You only score 1 run in the first 2 days. Now you go out there, typical April baseball in Cleveland for a Cleveland baseball team. 7, get them all out of the way on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Your guys' expectations. We'll start with Derek. What are your expectations really for this team this year?
None. I mean, I don't think that I have any sort of. I hate to say like that. I don't want to sound like a pessimist. I think it's one of those things as a fan of any Cleveland sport, you always are sort of a little bit cautiously optimistic. You don't want to say too much about too much. You know what I mean? You don't want to jinx it. But I don't have any expectations beyond that they're going to play some baseball games, and some of them are going to win, and then other ones they're going to lose. It just depends, who has the higher score at the end of the game.
Look at that analyst right there.
Man. Like that's as deep as you can go right there. Ryan,
my mentor, Tony Grossi's my mentor. He told me that's the way you answer those type of questions.
Ryan, for you, I mean, I think they put the over under like 76.5 for this team. Again, we're not betting people, but it looks like they have a player in Stephen Kwan in a rookie that was, is going to be, I think, helpful in a 2-hole if he can play consistently with that small ball that he kind of shows. He's not going to have a day like he had today, get it on base 6 times, go 5 for 5, and then,
Wait, that's not going to happen every day?
No, I'm sorry. That doesn't happen every day in baseball.
Somebody's going to be upset.
I'm already upset.
I mean, even the great players only hit 30% of the time. So
I thought it was going to be the first 800 hitter too. Damn it. I would have settled for 700.
How far can this team go, Ryan? Or is it just more about now getting the young guys experience and maybe like a year of young guys getting experience to then a quick rebuild back into next year? Is that what we're looking at?
I mean, it's pretty much what they do all the time, right? I mean, we go, we bring up all our talent, we let them play for a little while, they get some success, we farm them out. I mean, it goes and goes. It's a perpetual cycle. It happens over and over and over again. And then you get some years where, the potential for the team, obviously, they could go on and get on fire, but it's always bad for now the Guardians. Hopefully, maybe they get rid of that thing once the All-Star break happens and they fall apart, and then they try to turn it on in the last 2 weeks. So, potential with our farm system, we always have potential. I think our bullpen's going to go as far as that's where it's going to go. If our bats can wake up enough to give us 3 runs and our pitching bullpen can fucking take it down, then that's going to be the formula. Small ball, the fucking bullpen, and getting some luck.
Yeah. I mean, Jay, I know for you, and for both of us, we wanted to have this conversation when you called me earlier today to try to prep for the show, but it was great that they signed Jose, but it felt like that went away after 24 hours because they told us all offseason they had some money to spend, and
they didn't spend anything.
They didn't spend any on their outfield, especially. I
think they spent $900,000.
Wait, didn't they just re-sign Straw for 5 years, extended him?
Yeah.
What has he done?
That's what I'm saying.
No offense. He's supposed to be a good prospect,
there
but
we go.
What has he done? Everyone's like, oh, we got him for 5 years. Great. What has he done? It's not like you just read up Manny Ramirez, dude. Sorry. I'm really down on these guys. I think if I was betting on him, I'd bet the under. Quan has started off hot, but I've seen players do that before. If he goes cold and outside of Jose, you're not going to score runs. Today it's like, yeah, we scored 17. That's awesome. But I know this baseball team, and that means we're just going to score 1 and maybe 2 in the next 2 games. It's like we get rid of all our runs in 1 game.
Yeah, like Aaron Savali's probably wishing right now that they would have saved some runs for
you
tomorrow.
saved at least 4 of those for us because we might have a chance tomorrow.
I wonder what it's like to be like the front office of the Guardians, to like be like a single mother. Like that's how they have to run this team. They have to run and budget like a single mother like their entire career. They're getting paid to struggle.
If Bezos owned this team with that front office, if we had like just that unlimited spending cash, I swear we'd be a like dynasty team. Because like right now we're the quadruple A for all of baseball. All we do is like, and it's not like it's just like the last 10 years. This has been going on since early 90s. I watched Brian Giles go away, Richie Sexton, like just player after player after player we should have paid, Manny, Albert, all these guys. And I'm like, why do we keep doing this? We just bring up these great players, just be like, here in New York, here LA, there you go. Everyone have our great players.
Yeah, and we know it's a business, so they can't always come just straight out of pocket. A lot of it does come from TV deals.
Well, actually, I think only one owner's actually come out of pocket. I heard and it was the Detroit owner when he paid for Miguel and how that worked out. But yeah, most of the time I think I was just hearing like New York gets more money that we get all year just off the radio.
Yeah, it's
like contracts.
Then there's TV
that
and
makes sense.
Which is I'm sorry, that's like I've been bitching about this all forever on this show is baseball is not fair. It's like, wow, you have more people in your city, so you get a greater advantage. Like that's just not fair. Like a sporting event should be as fair as possible, and your population shouldn't decide how much you can be able to spend.
I think the point of that, I mean, there's never going to be a cap in baseball. They're not going to do it. No, never. But I think there should be a floor. Like you need to have a floor.
Some kind of floor and some kind of profit sharing. Because the NFL, like I think all the teams make the same amount of money, if I'm correct. Like off the TV deals and everything.
Yeah, that's the percentages that they break out in like the bargaining agreements and everything. So the percentages go all the same. They divvy it all up. I mean, that's what the Redskins, but the Commanders, that's what they're getting in trouble for now. When they were the Redskins, because he was withholding the profit sharing that the Redskins was. How do you not notice that?
Yeah,
it's the Commodores, man.
I don't know. There's never going to be a cap in baseball. Like you said, there should be a floor. If you're an owner that's worth, has over $1 billion, or even, you got the 8 to 9 figures coming into your bank account, you should be able to afford over a $60 million payroll on this team. Now, you're not going to spend like the Yankees do, and they got, top to bottom in their lineup. They got guys that can take you a yard, but you have teams in your own division that are in very similar circumstances where they're in a mid-market, and they still, even in this offseason was an example. They brought in guys. The Twins spent. I didn't even know the Tigers got Javi Baez to play shortstop for them. Like these teams spent, or they at least brought in a couple key pieces. You couldn't bring in a couple key above average outfielders. Now, a Miles Straw is somewhat of above average. He can get you started from the top of the lineup. If you have Stephen Kwan that can stay consistent throughout the year, like an above average major league player, then that keeps a rally going, doesn't kill the rally like the 2-hole used to do. Now you got Jose and Franmil. You're still top heavy. You don't have any length to your lineup. You don't have those outfielders or even a first baseman. Bobby Bradley, Owen Miller played well today, but he's going to be around the infield. He's not strictly a first baseman. You don't have a first baseman, a catcher, or an outfielder that instills any fear.
Our catchers can't hit over 200.
You don't have even one of those 3 that instill fear into other opposing
Perez
pitchers.
Would put the wood on the ball like that. They were like, "Oh shit!"
Perez may not have a high average, but man, he was clutch. Like when we were needed a home run, that dude just popped one out of the park every time.
End of season, he was like money.
Oh, and not to mention, he was amazing defensive catcher, though. He was awesome.
Oh, they say that, but that's the only thing that they do. Like, you'll never say that. Every catcher that comes through the Indian system is a great catcher. They just don't have a bat.
Missed Sandy so bad.
here's what the Indians, now into Guardians organization, can develop. They can develop great pitching, and they can develop defensive or pick out great defensive catchers. You know what they can't develop or pick out? Great offensive and defensive outfielders and great offensive catchers. That's all I've been looking for, even just one of those over these last several years when they had a chance.
We did have an offensive catcher, remember? But it comes back to what we were talking about earlier, developing for another team. His name was Victor. He wanted to stay here. He literally cried when we traded him.
Yep.
He wanted to stay here so bad. Would have taken a deal. And we're like, no, sorry, we're the Nolans and we're cheap asses and you got to go.
And guess what? It wasn't just Miguel Cabrera in Detroit that was beating you up in those years that Detroit.
I swear, like every time I watched Victor Martinez play the Indians, every single time he got a hit. I don't think I've ever watched us get that dude out.
All right. So we'll kind of table the Guardians conversation there because it's 162 games. There's going to be plenty of different
we got a
long season ahead.
We do want to talk about you guys in the next segment, though. So we're going to let you guys plug your show and talk about how it's
only if you want to. Yeah.
Oh, of course we do.
Yeah. So we'll give you guys.
I'm just teasing.
You're going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. We'll let the guys from the Rumpus Revival talk about their show, kind of their story, and some of the things they got going here on the other side. This is the Voice of Land right here on the Big Play Network.
Are you struggling to hire the right talent or maybe even find the right career? Vector Technical makes it easy. Since 1992, Vector has provided Ohio employers with a reliable process for hiring and have helped thousands of job seekers advance in their careers. Vector Technical is more than just a temp agency. We invest time to get to know each client and candidate personally. Vector places people in job opportunities that they are truly excited about. Interested in learning more? Visit our website at www.vectortechnicalinc.com to see a full list of our current job opportunities and to find out what Vector Technical can offer you.
Get your gear at voiceoftheland.com/shop.
Welcome back to the Voice of Land here on the Big Play Network. Kevin Arnold alongside Always Positive Jay, and our producer extraordinaire is making his money tonight. He hasn't even been able to speak tonight, but he has been getting our guests on air with us, and we do have the two hosts from Rumpus Room Revival. We got Derek West and Ryan Wingard with us here tonight. And guys, give you guys a chance to kind of talk about your guys' your story and like why did you guys decide to get your own show going? What are you trying to get the message out to people? Like, what do you want people to get from your show when you guys are on?
That's such a
loaded question.
Such a complicated question there. What do we want from? First of all, thank you to your producer. I appreciate him so much for working because I know it was such like a last minute thing, and we know how things go last minute. So thank you
guys are big
much.
Marvel fans. Like if who is Tony Stark had vision, we have audio. Yeah. We always say you never get to see the guy. He's just an AI system. He's not even a real person.
Yeah, no, it's awesome that you guys have that support. So, but I do appreciate it. Rumpus Room Revival. What can we tell you? What do we want from people, Ryan? What would you say that we want from people? What's the message we're trying to convey?
I mean, most of the things, just like Brown's Twitter, like all the things that we write and we do in Twitter. It's stuff that makes us laugh, and it just gives it. I mean, honestly, we're going to talk about it anyway, right? So might as well throw it up and see what comes out of it. I mean, it's really been no more than that. It's just stuff that makes us laugh.
It seems like it's just an open conversation podcast.
That's all it is.
Correct. Yeah,
it's completely open format.
And shenanigans, always some good
one
shenanigans.
Episode might be us talking about, for instance, what was going on recently with Deshaun Watson. And in the next segment, we might be asking each other, what do you think Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray's up to these days? It's just one of those things where, like, whatever we sit and talk about is what comes out. And it seems to work well for us. There's no central message. The message, I guess, if there is one, is don't take yourself too seriously. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And try to be able to laugh at yourself and be able to observe the things around you that are really truly funny if you stop and look at it. It's how the whole Brown's Twitter videos got started.
See, now I think you guys just do it so you can play the discount drug mart commercials.
That is that's something that we do. Every episode of our show has a commercial break that has a discount drug mart.
From inception, there has been drug mart commercials in all of our shows.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. That's why I said it.
from the very beginning. Yeah.
And I think
just two kids from Cleveland talking reckless.
So you have this hilarious Twitter. This is how I got to know you, is through your Browns Twitter videos. Explain to people how all that started and what it is, because not everyone's seen it. And to me, I'm sorry, it is the funniest thing on Twitter when it comes on. And when you come out with a new video, I'm not gonna lie, I'm like, oh yes. And I'll go somewhere just at work and watch it. I'm like, all right, leave me alone, people. I gotta watch this real quick.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It came from literally what I just said, like sitting and observing. Neither one of us knew what Brown's Twitter was. We had no idea that it was a thing or an entity like this community. You know what I mean? And so we were just somehow, some way we wind up doing like a follow train, and we seen all these different characters and personalities on Brown's Twitter. And I thought, man, this is funny. Like, this is really funny. And so we were both sort of dealing with some real heavy stuff. And the very first video was very simply, I was trying to make him laugh. Like I sent this to him and I said, hey man, do you think this is funny? You know? And he's like, dude, post it right now.
Laughter's the greatest antidote for some things, man.
It really is. It really is. And like I said, there was a lot of heavy things going on. And so, yeah, people just sort of liked them. And then we kept saying like, the next one will be the last one. And then we wound up doing like 10 of them, I think, something like that. And then after that, I said, no, okay, we're not going to do any more. But then every time we say that, something else wild happens in that weird community there. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to say something about this.
Well, even it's just as simple as us just driving around, you know, we'll see a Misney sign, or we'll see a commercial, or we'll see anything that comes along those lines. And I mean, that's where you get these characters. It's just, and then going into comment sections and just reading all the nonsense that comes out of those comment sections, which is like the 90% of the derivative of everything that happens is from comment sections, the threads.
100%.
You guys literally changed how I read Twitter now, because the comments used to just annoy me. I'm like, dude, what is wrong with these people? Now I laugh at them and I read them in the Topher voice. And Topher Testaverde is one of their personalities, and he's just the accumulation of just all the jerks on Twitter, pretty much. I think they're know-it-alls and just tell everyone else, if your opinion don't matter, mine's right and yours wrong. And I just read them all like that. And
he's an amalgamation. He's an amalgamation of every negative person that's ever attacked you on Twitter or thought that he knew better than you or whatever. Any person like that. That's who Topher Testaverde is. He's Vinny Testaverde's third cousin. They don't speak though.
I think the videos for me, when I started seeing them, I think what it did for me was like reopen my eyes to the fact that opinions are opinions, facts are facts. And we lost sight of actually having conversations with people, and not like, especially, you know, this is what we've grown up to enjoy, like, is Cleveland sports and having conversations about them. Even if we disagreed, like, we would talk back and forth. And now it's, you know, this whole Twitter world, it's like what I'm saying is right, what you are saying is wrong, but you said, and yet that person said, I think. I never heard a sentence if you were to give the definition of the word fact, I never heard an example of that start with I think, or the word think in that. Thinking is opinion. So I appreciate you. And then of course with you guys' show now, like reopening my eyes to just taking a step back. I'll tweet what I want. I'll tweet my opinions. And if people want to talk about it, actually talk real, I'll talk back to them. If they don't, and they want to just kind of make it personal and take it too deep, I'm not part of that world. That's just not what it's not worth it.
Twitter's not a real place.
No,
it's not a real place.
It's not a real place.
It's not a real place. And you can choose what to engage with and what not to engage with. And the mute function is the most beautiful thing in the world. I mean, I don't even I've never blocked anyone I blocked one person on Twitter, and I won't say who right now because it's a long story. I'll tell you guys off air, but I mute people. I find it much more passive aggressive and funny to think about them sitting there still tweeting at you while I'm completely oblivious. In the thin air.
Yeah, if someone actually replies to me, and our buddy Nick Padone taught me this, like, you could set it so that, like, if you're not following them, you don't even get alerts for it. So people are like, I'll read something, I'll read all these comments, and I'm like, I wonder what they're actually saying. And I'm like, I don't even see these people. They're just yelling at the wall pretty much, and it cracks me up. Well, I was telling you, I
Oh,
think
it's
that
great.
the psychology behind Brown Twitter is just hilarious to me. It's fascinating.
It's it is. It's fascinating. It's what brought us there. It's this very weird place. It's the weirdest place on the internet.
It's
Like
like
if-
a broken windshield. Like
Mm.
that's what it looked like. If you took it, it's a broken windshield. It's just scattered everywhere. There's just so much.
Like,
And you, from one vein to another vein, you're just looking at it. Where does it go? Like everywhere.
like when people have
Yeah.
like, I'll disagree with them and I'll be like, oh, I disagree with you, but I respect your opinion. You know, let's have a conversation. I'll try to be real friendly. And they're like,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much. Like for disagreeing, but being nice about it. I'm like, yeah, like most people don't do that. I'm like, no, they really don't.
Yeah.
Like,
No, we're
they don't.
being realistic. We're being real with
well,
it.
that's like what our show is like. We just, like he says, we always want to have realistic conversations and hear both sides. And if we don't agree with each other, and we'll listen to each other. And if we still don't agree, we just agree to disagree.
Sure. It's the same reason I read foreign press, for instance, because I don't want your opinion. I want to know what happened, and then I'll, come to the conclusion for myself about what's what,
Right. Like we'll all always have our opinions, but I think that even facts get convoluted because it gets presented, like you just said, the information that you need to form your own opinion gets convoluted in opinions that people are trying to present as facts anyways.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to sometimes figure out what's real. I got
It's already there when it gets to you. It's already when it gets to you, it's already been through a
Well, and
filter.
trying to process something that's already seems like a conflict. Like you're trying to process information and come back with a rebuttal, but you can't because it's already a fight. It's not even it's not it's just a fight. Like you're fighting. It's all what it is.
I mean, the society could get so much further if more people were just willing to just talk like we're talking right now. And we may not all agree on what everybody has said tonight, but we're just talking, and we're talking just back and forth and having a real conversation that hopefully opens someone's eyes, and then have some fun with it at the end, like we will here in just a second. So to try to bring the laughter, bring the fun, I think that's the biggest thing is, just laugh it away. If you feel angry, here's your phone, just set it aside. If you feel you're starting to get angry, it's not worth it. Just set it aside and open your eyes to what's around you in the world.
Yeah, and I agree. That's a great way to look at it. And that's all we were ever trying to do. Like I said, with these TikToks, they were designed to make one person laugh. And the fact that so many other people have found something in them, and they identify with some of the characters, and they're becoming sort of like a weird little part of like this inside joke and culture. It's a strange thing, and it's very cool, and it'll never stop being cool.
Oh,
So
it was
thank you
amazing
guys.
what you guys did. I mean, you guys made a lot of people laugh, and that's one of the best things you can do. It's not easy. It's not easy.
No,
It's the one famous actor said, dying is easy, comedy is hard.
Oh yeah, I can tell. Listen, I can tell you that for like experience, right? Listen, quick story. So I've done like a couple stand-ups, like open mics and things
really?
like that. And so the first ever open mic night I go to, it's like a 10-minute set or something like that, and I kill. I mean, I absolutely slaughter. It's the biggest rush I've ever had in my life, right? And so it's great. And I go back next week, and I'm all hyped up off this rush, and I say like, all right, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna kill this again. I absolutely bombed. And when I say bombed, I mean they didn't even boo. They were like completely
Straight
indifferent
crickets.
to everything that I was saying, and it was the this feeling of just
I gotta get out of
complete
here.
deflation. You know what I mean? Like,
You need to
yeah,
get
I don't
away
even
for a
think
little
I
while.
finished the set.
Southwest has
I
got a
don't
deal on airline tickets right now.
Seriously, it's terrible. So yeah, we're always. I never want people to be indifferent to them. You know what I mean? But anyway, thank you guys.
We got to get to a break, don't we?
Yes, we do got to get to a break. We're having some fun on the other side because we got fellow Marvel fans. We got 5 Marvel fans, and we can finally talk about a movie because audio finally saw it. We can finally talk about that here.
You
on
guys
the
have
show.
seen Spider-Man, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, so we'll have some fun on the other side of the break. This is the last and final break of the night here on the Voice of Land on the Big Play Network.
Are you looking for a career in manufacturing? Vector Technical has you covered. Vector Technical is a 28-year-old staffing firm that has partnered with some of the biggest and the best companies throughout Northeastern Ohio. The recruiters at Vector Technical will coach you through the entire job process and will help you land an opportunity that you are truly excited about. Vector does not add any additional fees and offers benefits as well as free online skills training through Penn Foster. To learn more, visit www.vectortechnicalinc.com and make sure to check out our job board to see a full list of our current opportunities and apply.
Welcome back to the Voice of Land here on the Big Play Network. Before we do get the guys from the Rumpus Room Revival back in here to talk some Marvel, just want to give an update to everyone because we do partner with the Cleveland Crunch as well. They made it all the way to the championship game of MASL2, that is Major Arena Soccer League, in the second division. Unfortunately, fell today to the San Diego Sockers, their second tier team. They have a team in the upper division and then one in the second division as well. They did fall 7-4. A team that had 3 weeks by. I don't know if there was rust. I don't know if, what they may have lost, but also not playing against teams of other divisions, not seeing kind of their styles of play. They wouldn't make excuses. They never do make excuses. It was always one quarter at a time. And unfortunately today, the San Diego Sockers, congratulations to them. They were much better quarter to quarter throughout the game today. So they win the championship. Cleveland denied the opportunity to repeat as champions like they did last year, but we want to say congratulations to them on a great season. They go 13-1 in their 14 games. And we want to thank them for the opportunity. I know audio shares this as well. Thank them for the opportunity for LPV Productions and myself to be a part of those broadcasts at home. And hopefully we can do that moving forward. And, maybe some changes or more open venue, because there's a lot of Crunch fans out there that don't get to go to the games just because of the space that they have right now. We'll just see how things go, but they continue to have success like they are. They could, sky is the, what is it?
Limit.
Sky is the limit. What did Jordan say? The floor, the sky is the ceiling, or something like that. Something like that about
You
The
just
roof
totally
is the
botched
ceiling
it.
or some shit like that.
the roof is the ceiling. Something to that effect. But congratulations to the Crunch as we bring back in Ryan and Derek from the Rumpus Room Revival. And I was told you guys are big Marvel fans. I'm sure you guys saw Spider-Man. What did you guys think it was as epic as everybody is saying it is?
It was good. I honestly need to take a second look at it because I marked out the way that I think anyone would mark out, I guess, particularly my age group and as a kid who read comic books. Yeah, I mean, I marked out for it, and of course I marked out for the 3 Spider-Man, but I think I need to take a second look at it before I really make a decision. And the only reason I say that is we went and saw the Batman, and I don't want to change topics to the Batman, but
you can.
We went and saw it a second time. And after seeing, I had a certain opinion of the Batman the first time I saw it. And after the second time I saw it, my opinion was much different. And I found it to be a much better experience. So I'm going to watch it again. And that's what I'm going to say about Spider-Man. I loved the first viewing of it is what I can say.
Where were you at with the Batman at first, though? Like first versus second? Because a lot of people have seen it at this point. So, I mean.
Right. Yeah. My first impressions of it was that it was a good Batman movie. It wasn't great. It was just good. There was like a cameo that was shoehorned into it that I thought was completely unnecessary. There was times where I know they were trying to tell a story about an earlier Batman, but where he really wasn't that good of a detective at all. And he didn't really
consistently getting fooled.
Yeah. Like he got fooled and beat up so many times. So yeah, but upon the second viewing, I appreciated it more as a film, if that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Than just Batman movie. And I thought that upon the second viewing of it, that it was excellent. Particularly Colin Farrell as the Penguin. I found him awesome. I thought he was the best character in the movie.
It's funny, Batman's movies, the bad guys always steal the thunder from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they're the best bad guys. I mean,
exactly
honestly,
what happened with The Dark Knight.
Batman in general, like the bad guys, they're just good. They're so they bring them through, and their stories are great, and plus they always change. So I mean, and the DC does a good job with villains.
How did Patterson
They do.
do as Batman compared to the priors?
Did you call him Patterson?
I thought his name was
Pattinson.
Pattinson. I don't know him that well. I'm not big into the celebrities over here.
You don't watch movies?
Oh God, here comes Topher.
He's actually a huge
Everybody,
Twilight fan.
everybody
so.
knows the Twilight.
Yeah, that's what it was. He's watching Twilight. He likes those shiny vampires.
It was Topher completely took me off guard.
Took me off
they're
guard.
Great villains, man. Yeah, they're great villains, man.
I like the
Well,
villain.
you guys
Did you like the
didn't care for it?
villains in the Spider-Man movie? Did you think it was a little weird how they like kind of like Electro just changed and they're like, oh, we're just
We're
gonna make you
kinda-
better and upgrade you for whatever reason? And
No, it doesn't bother me because here Marvel has now like painted themselves out of a million corners with this multiverse thing.
Mhm.
So now, no matter what,
They could just break all the
He's
rules.
from the multiverse. Oh well, oh, he came from the multiverse. It's just, oh, okay, well, that's the answer to everything now. So it's quite lazy, but visually, the movies don't stop getting any less cool.
Mhm.
So like, they're still gonna get my money. You know what I mean? But it's lazy storytelling.
I liked that how they made like Doc Ock was kind of a good guy instead of being a bad guy.
Yeah.
Where everyone in the trailers totally made you think he was going to be a bad guy that steals his nanotech, and we all saw what really happened. And yeah, I thought that was kind of cool that he wasn't like the bad guy for once.
Well, now that Hollywood, they do such a good job of showing you the entire movie
Mhm.
through a damn trailer.
Yeah,
Most of these things, I'm like, why am I even going to see this shit?
Yeah,
like Morbius.
oh, I've heard that that's bad. I haven't had a chance to see it, but I've heard that it's not good. Have you guys seen it?
No, and I hate being one of those people because I haven't seen it either. I'm just like making fun of it because everyone else is making fun of it.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
but
I'm good. You got to form your own opinion, like we were just saying. But it's not just critics that are saying it's bad. Like there's people that
it's
like
Jared Leto just makes everything bad. Let's be real. I can't stand that dude. He was the worst
Nah, he did
Joker
some
I've
good
ever
stuff.
seen. I was like, oh, what the hell is that?
The worst? Was he the worst Joker ever?
Oh, he has to be. Who's the best Joker? I think it's Mark Hamill.
Mark. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
forget about Mark Hamill and
Dude,
Kevin
that
Conroy.
laugh is the best Joker
Well, you didn't
laugh.
like Cesar
Yeah.
Romero? Come on.
No,
I
that was their.
I do like Cesar Romero. I do like Cesar Romero because he was closer to the original comic version of the Joker. I
He
thought
really
he was
was.
hilarious.
Yeah, he
I mean,
really was.
Don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, I loved that old school Batman show. I used to watch it at my grandma's house all the time.
Every day.
Pow.
There's
Bang!
there are absolutely aspects of Cesar Romero's Joker and Heath Ledger's Joker. I 100% believe
Now the
that.
best episode ever is when you ever seen the shark attack?
Yeah.
And he's like, get the
Oh,
shark
yeah.
repellent. And I'm reading him, there's whale repellent up there. I'm like, what the hell? It's so bad. It's awesome.
Did,
I'm like,
did you
"Don't-"
ever see
That's what's good about it.
the movie? Did you ever see the actual movie?
that
from
is,
the
I think that's
60s?
the movie.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
one of
that's the movie, yeah.
That's from the movie.
Because I knew they
Yeah.
had the TV show too.
Oh, and then when they
Yeah.
walk up the buildings, it's also great.
Oh yeah.
It's great. It's good, campy, good, clean, fun for the whole family.
Look how far we've come, though, guys.
Yeah.
In the comic
Oh,
book
yeah.
and superhero.
If you think that's bad, dude, the old Spider-Man show, I seen like the trailer, someone dropped it for the show. Oh my god, that 70s Spider-Man was so bad looking. I'm like, I'm glad
You're
I didn't
talking
watch
about the Japanese one. It was from Japan.
it. I think it was from Japan, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really bad.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
terrible.
really bad.
It's so bad. It's
Yeah, but
good
it's
to watch.
wild. It's wild to see like how far we've come. It's one of the things that I'm worried. Like, I kind of don't want to die anytime soon, just because I'll miss out on so many good movies. You know what I mean?
Well, if you
Yeah.
I'm
wanna
still a
have-
mark for fucking just practical effects, things like that.
Oh yeah,
When,
Yeah.
100%.
with the things that they can do now with practical effects, I always mark out more. I find myself marking out more for when they put the effort into doing it real, like trying to make it look real,
Yeah.
and then adding CGI just to subtly make it and enhance it.
Yeah,
See, but like,
that's why I didn't like Eternals, because I like there was too much stuff that I could tell wasn't real. Like they didn't make look real. You could clearly see it
Yeah.
was CGI
Yeah.
or whatever.
see, but like now, let's say like they made Jaws was originally made now compared to then. That shark would have been all computer and it would have been all over the screen. It would have never been the
The
cinematic.
Meg or whatever it was called. That's exactly the job. That's what you'd have right there.
Yeah, well,
The Meg. Yeah.
Jason Statham.
exactly.
Mhm.
That movie
Yeah.
was terrible. Where Jaws, one of the best parts was that machine kept breaking during the production, so they couldn't show the shark that much, and it led to so much suspense that they didn't realize was going to
Well,
happen.
that's what made
And-
the movie.
Yeah, and it made the movie is this
Yeah.
thing breaking. Bruce is they call the shark in the movie, but yeah, not all the
Yeah.
time. Special effects sometimes can like make things seem cheesy, I think. But
They were able to do a lot with a little back then, and nowadays kind of get disappointed because you have so much at your disposal and you do so little with it. It like those movies.
It's almost the reverse, right?
Yeah.
Like before they could do a lot with a little before, and it's now you can do, a lot with a little still. And you know what I mean? Like in the same way, but people just don't.
It's
And
it's
that's a sad
complacency is
thing.
what
That's
it
a great
is.
point.
It's
Like
com-
Star Wars is
That's
a
a great
perfect
point.
example of that.
Yeah, it's
Like they had nothing, and look at all they did in those 80s and 70s movies. And I think
I
now
appreciate that they do try though.
Yeah,
they
now
do try to use
They
a lot
do
of
still
practical.
try.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
which that's what I was gonna say. Like they use a lot of the puppets and stuff that they still have, but some of the stuff they do some awesome computer animation, which I'm fine with. Like that's awesome.
yeah.
The movie, I think
You
got to
marry them both
was,
together to make it look great.
Yeah.
Because that's when you don't do it strictly electronic, it makes it look a lot better.
And
Yeah.
when it's bad, it's bad.
it's
I
horrible.
mean, it's bad. We just watched Moon Knight on Disney Plus a couple weeks ago, and there's some CGI in there that's just
Yeah.
bad. And it's like you guys didn't even try.
Oh, they wasted all that money. It's the suit, dude. This is my whole thing with it. They took that money and the suit cost so much money. That car
Yeah.
chase, they were like, all right, we're just gonna wash this.
Yeah,
Just don't worry about it. The suit's
it
gonna
was
be
like
cool. They'll
Tonka
forget.
trucks. It was just like Tonka trucks, and like you could almost see a kid's hand like running a motorcycle behind him. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm more confused by Moon Knight than but if I go back and watch the episodes, like there was points I definitely saw, kind of the same things I was talking about with Eternals. Like you could see we got complacent here. We didn't really put enough in because we kind of spent too much money. Kind of like the Dolans. We spent too much money one way. We didn't, we can't dole it out to.
I do
anywhere
think
else.
Moon Knight has great acting though.
Yeah, if we don't,
Sure.
if we,
Oh yeah, it's
if
great.
the effects don't like carry up after that scene, and they don't continue, like if we get another one like that, a real shit sandwich in there,
Yeah.
then I'll be like, all right, come on,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
You're Disney. You're
Yeah,
Disney.
you're Disney. You have more money than God. Let's go.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Now, does anybody here get into, have you ever gone down the path of kind of getting too much into the fan theories? There's that network on social media of the theories and stuff. Because I feel like
I'm that guy.
I
I will watch Kevin.
we'll
I'll watch
go down
YouTube videos after all these episodes that break down everything, show all the little hidden details and Easter eggs. Yeah, I'm that guy.
see, I feel like I did that
Yeah.
too much for Spider-Man though. Not trying to. I just ended up seeing too much on Spider-Man, the build up to have all three Spider-Man in there, while I still marked
Right.
out not as much as I feel like I would have if I just went in with no sense of what direction they could take the story.
Well, that
Yeah,
goes
and
along
with-
the whole lines of the trailer, like you said. You
Yeah.
see so much, and then you can already have your notions in your head of what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah. And with Spider-Man specifically, I didn't do that. I stayed as far away from it as I possibly could. I had it muted, I believe, on Twitter for the longest time. I didn't want to know,
Mhm.
see, hear anything about it. And I didn't, you know what I mean? I was able to go into that pretty fresh.
Yeah, I do it after, not before.
Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to do with with Doctor Strange coming up. I mean, that's what I've kind of done. I learned from Spider-Man. That's the only movie I did it with. So then anything that happens that they're trying to get you to mark out at with what
Yeah.
happens in the movie, I want to have that genuine emotion, whether I actually
Sure.
like it or not.
I
That's
think
why we
this
go to the
Doctor
movies.
Strange
That's
movie
why
is
you
going to be
go.
huh?
That's why you go to the movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't
Have
wait
a
for the
reaction.
Doctor Strange movie. How about you guys?
I mean,
That's
is it
gonna be wild.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange or Thor: Love and Thunder? Is it both? Is it which one are you guys more
I'm
excited
so
for?
for both of them.
Okay.
I'm so for both of them.
Is it weird that
I'm
we haven't
pretty
gotten a
excited
trailer?
for Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
No,
I'm-
they're still holding out on the Thor trailer.
I think
Um,
Thor. I have a fear of Thor that it's going to bomb.
Really?
I don't know why.
No,
They did
it'll
such
be
a
just
good
like
job
Ragnarok.
with the Ragnarok, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but the
they're
second
gonna
Thor
gonna
was
roll
so
that.
bad.
But isn't it the same director as Ragnarok?
Yeah, but
talking
Ragnarok.
with-
It's got the same director.
Does it? It might be all right
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fine. But no, I'm a mark for Doctor Strange anyway. I like him
Hmm.
as a character, and it's honestly the first movie is probably my favorite Marvel movie.
It's
the
one of my
first
top
Doctor
5.
Strange.
I love that.
Yeah, I
movie.
think visually it is out of this world.
See, that's where I
it's-
think visual effects. You have to have great visual effects for a show like that, and they just
right.
crush it, dude.
It's Inception
Yeah,
style,
it's
right?
awesome.
Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, it's really awesome. Great movie. It's my favorite.
They did a good job with just bending the way the reality looks.
Yeah.
Audio, what are you looking forward to? We haven't heard from you much. Sorry.
Sorry, we talk a lot.
No, that's okay. I'm not even sure. I mean, I'm the one that finally saw Spider-Man, and I did. Unfortunately, I saw some of the spoilers beforehand, so I knew some of the
Yeah.
stuff that's going to happen with like the 3 Spider-Men and
The meme.
well,
all
my
three
problem,
pointing at
yeah,
each
right.
other.
And my problem was, I wanted to go see it, and when it came out, I got COVID when it
Yeah,
came
that's
out.
right. That
So,
is right. Yeah.
and then after that, my wife, she wanted to see it, but she didn't want to go to the theater because she was worried about all that. And so we finally saw it when it came out on digital. But yeah, it's great. And I mean, I'm looking forward to the Doctor Strange, the multiverse. I think you're kind of right though when you said with the multiverse, it gets kind of lazy because like, oh well, this shouldn't happen. Because I don't read the fan theories like Jay does, but I do read some of them, and I'll look at them, and it's like it gets overwhelming. I mean, it just really
Yeah,
does.
sure.
It's an infinite amount of story.
Oh, it is.
And to their credit, I mean, it is something that it is faithful to the comic books. I just got finished reading Secret Wars from 2015.
I have
Marvel
one of the
Comics
original comics, Secret Wars.
of Secret Wars. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a great story. And so, I mean, the multiverse is something that they've been using for years, but I don't know. Hey, real quick, I want to tell this story, and this is kind of, I guess, what we do on our show. I want to tell you guys a story. I can't believe that I haven't said it yet about when I went to see Spider-Man No Way Home.
Okay, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Because this looks like a funny one. The way you're about to laugh.
Oh yeah.
I go to see
I got
Spider-Man.
I got a phone call after this, like directly after this happened.
Yeah, so I went with my family, my wife and kids, and we go in and we watch the movie. And after the movie's over, it's a pretty long movie, and I'm a guy who, when I go to the movies, I go to the bathroom before I go, and I don't go until the movie's over. And so Spider-Man, it was one of those things where I'm waiting through the entire post-credit scene. So I've been holding it for a while. So I get up after the movie's over and I go into the bathroom. And I walk in the bathroom and I immediately think like, this is a strange bathroom. I've never been into a bathroom like this before, but I don't think anything of it. And I just walk into the stall and I proceed to take care of what I'm taking care of. And I go and I start washing my hands. And it's only then, as I'm washing my hands, I turn and I look out the doorway of the bathroom. And I'm looking out the doorway of the bathroom into the men's bathroom, standing in the men's bathroom this whole time. And like, enough time to go in, recognize that, oh, guys, this is strange. I've never seen a bathroom quite like this before. Where's the urinals? Use it. Come back out. Wash my hands. And only by the grace of like whatever entity you believe in, no one else walked in, because there's no way I could have explained that away. Not in 2022. Like, you can't just be an idiot who walked into the wrong bathroom.
Which I've done. I've just noticed that there was no standing stalls. I'm like, I got to get out of here quick.
Dude, didn't even occur to me.
You had to
The
go,
only thing
man.
that occurred to-
You had to
dude,
go.
It didn't even occur to me. The only thing that I thought was like, this is really strange. I've never seen a bathroom like this before.
All you had to do was say, "I just entered the multiverse of bathrooms." Like,
Yeah.
like just get lazy like
I just got out of Spider-Man. I'm not drunk. It's just weird. My head's.
I swear those urinals were on the wall when I came
Yeah,
in.
when I
They were
walked in
there.
here,
You
they
just
were.
transferred like Venom does. You were in one bathroom. You're like, I was in
Yeah,
there,
right.
and then I'm over here.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I swear, I
Scott-
might be able to
it's
get away
Doctor
with that,
Strange's fault. Damn it!
yeah.
Having his damn spells.
Yeah, but it was great, a movie, and I'm excited for that new Doctor Strange.
Yeah. My fiance and I, we actually, and if you guys get a chance, I don't know how long it's going to be there. If you get a chance to
I'm going Saturday.
go to Columbus, any Marvel fans out there is one of the absolute biggest Marvel exhibit of costumes from movies and the history of Marvel comics at COSI down in Columbus.
COSI? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Love COSI.
Yeah, and it's put on by actually the Museum of like Pop Culture that's out in Seattle that we got a chance to go to when I went to my sister's wedding out there, and they did a great job of everything in that museum. So I mean, this exhibit is definitely for all Marvel fans, and we've both read some comics and like been into it, but there's some stuff we're confused on. They had this giant encyclopedia of Marvel. And we knew we had, like, it was $40. We were like, we have to put the money down, like, because
And you didn't buy me one.
You know what? You can buy yourself one. You're going. You
I
can buy
know.
yourself one.
Now I'll buy myself one. Hey, do you
Yeah.
guys want me to pick you
I
guys
bought
up
my
while
nephew
I'm
one of
there?
those. They're
Maybe.
pretty dope.
I might just go grab one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Sounds awesome.
but if anybody gets a chance, I highly recommend the exhibit. Guys, that is kind of, we're up against kind of the end of the show here, but we want to thank you guys so much for coming on. A
Yeah,
whole lot of
appreciate
fun.
it so much.
I'll give you guys a chance, kind of plug your Twitters and how people can get connected and see or hear Rumpus Room Revival.
Yeah, anything you could want to know about us or that show, you could do at rumpusroomrevival.com. We we painstakingly put together a pretty sweet little website there. All the Browns Twitter videos are there. Any video content we've ever done is there. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulletproof West. It's BULIT Proof West.
I'm at MC No Walk.
So make sure you guys hit them with a follow if you haven't already. A lot of great content. And I mean, again, if you want to have some fun, you want to laugh, we'll try to do that here. Sometimes we get the great compliment that we're professional on here, but sometimes that's for us, that's a little detriment.
Yeah, we're sorry.
Yeah. No. It's we try to have fun, but we're trying to, the first concept of the show was to bring sports talk back to what it's supposed to be, actual real conversations and not just yelling across the table. Even if I disagree with Always Positive Jay or someone else.
We're not the hot take room, basically.
Yeah. I'm not just out here to just try to get hot takes. If a hot take comes out genuinely, or we get into a disagreement genuinely that gets a little more heated, it like we feel better about that than kind of just trying to get it just for the clicks. If people tune into us, they do. If they don't, they don't.
Sure.
I know you guys probably feel the same way. Just, you guys are having a lot of fun on your show. So everybody go check out Rumpus Room Revival, rumpusroomrevival.com. Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you guys very much. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And this is going to wrap it up for this edition of The Voice of the Land. We will not be back next week. That is the holiday. It is Easter holiday. So for those celebrating, we're going to kind of give them a chance to be with their families. I know my fiance and I, we're going to have to do the, try to get both families in 2 days and travel 2 hours in between them. So no show next week. We'll be back the following week. Hopefully we're talking about Cavs still in the playoffs and Guardians baseball looking a little bit better offensively with great pitching still going on. For Always Positive Jay, our producer extraordinaire, audio, Peter Tillip, I'm Kevin Arnold, reminding all of you out there, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. We truly love you all, 3,000. And as our great late friend Mike Allen always used to say, all gas, no brakes. We'll see you on the next edition of The Voice of the Land right here on the Big Play Network.